Yo, what's happening everybody, King GBL here, and welcome back to our brand new Go Bat Like video. Today I'm going to be showcasing my best Gligar team in the Sunshine Cup. I have to say a big shout out to Hugo and Bird in the Discord who suggested this team, and of course BRI. I was watching a few of our Discord members streaming this team and it looked very strong. Decided to try it out myself today, and like I said, went 16 out of 25. Very impressed with this team. Today's going to be a longer video, so sit back, relax, enjoy. I'm going to go through a lot of the different matchups, so hopefully if you're trying to gain some elo in the Sunshine Cup, this team should help you out quite a lot. The really good thing about this team is it basically has play against anything. I never find myself in a position except for one match where I thought there's no way for me to win this match. So that's what I did like about this team, and we're going to hop into all the battles here. So in this first match here, we've got a Steelix here. Our whole team basically can deal with Steelix, a Vigoroth with counters and bulldoze, Gligar with dig, and Swampert with mudshot. We definitely want Swampert on this. I thought the opponent would go for a CMP tie, so I end up insta-throwing the second move. We end up swapping out because we are debuffed, and in comes Trevenant. The opponent basically had no answer to us there, and let's hop into this one. Now with this match here, I'm taking a note out of Hugo's book here in the Discord, who basically likes to play this. If you're losing CMP, just basically let them throw the second body slam and take you out and get the farm down with Gligar. And I found that strategy working out really well. You get basically 2 or 3 wing attacks free with Gligar. In the end, I'm just going to go for CMP. They do actually go for a catch in this situation, which, you know, a little bit annoying, but perfectly fine. We can come in with Gligar, and we actually get the alignment we want here, right? So even though the opponent's catching a resisted body slam, they're also going to catch me outpacing to the Aurelius and taking out the Trevenant, but they do shield it up, and at this point, I think this is just a Seed Bomb. I do respect this move. It is Shadow Ball. I was thinking, okay, they'll probably go for 2 moves here to try and force me to throw energy. We do go for the Aurelius just before they get to the next Seed Bomb, and that should take out the Trevenant. And Gligar basically hits everything in this cup. That's what I really like about this Pokemon. This is the first time I've used Gligar in this cup, and actually, of course, this is a new addition to this meta since the last time this cup was here, and it basically just hits everything. In comes their own Gligar. Now we're in a perfect position. The one thing you need to know about Swampert on this team, this Swampert or Shadow Swampert cannot one-shot Gligar. So the really good thing is, if you get a little chip on it, like an Aurelius or a Body Slam, you can look to one-shot it with Swampert. Now it really just depends on the opponent's IVs. This must be a bulky one, because I did manage to survive that one, unfortunately. But as you're seeing, we have to eat this Aurelius. We do get a few mud shots free, and they get to another move. This is actually a very bulky Gligar the opponent's got. Doesn't really matter what I shield here, we can farm down the 1 HP Vigoroth. That's going to be a good game. I was going for the 1 HP knockout for the shield, and in comes a double lead. A lead I haven't seen too often, and the opponent is actually staying in here. Now, in this team, I like to basically throw away Vigoroth where possible, and save my shields for Swampert and Gligar. So right here, we're not shielding this one. We're going to go for an overfarm. We're only 1 off the next move. The opponent should be at the next body slam right now, but we're going to go for 1 and throw, and the opponent does not throw their move. In that situation, you need to just insta-throw the body slam. Don't go for the 1 and throw for good timing. Sometimes it is better to forget about good timing and just go for the move instantly if you're tracking the opponent's energy. That's perfect. We can come in with Gligar, get a wing attack through, and in comes Noctowl. Now, this is a little bit tricky, however, it's not too bad with this Pokemon. I believe this is a win for Noctowl, because these Aureliuses do basically nothing. However, they do not pace to these moves very well anymore, and we're basically chilling, right? It used to be 665, now it's 766 for the wing or for the Sky attacks. So that's a huge difference on Noctowl's side, and it allows us to basically, you know, get a lot of these moves through. We end up CMP tying the opponent. I think they overfarmed a little bit too much there. We CMP tie the opponent, boom. They actually shielded up, which is quite interesting. And I decided to shield up the Gligar here at this point, just in case it is like a Trevenant in the back or something that we need Gligar for. The opponent does make it to another move here, because of course they were overfarming quite a lot. They overfarmed too much and CMP'd on my last move, so they do get to another Sky attack. The opponent goes for the pivot, and in comes Vigoroth. I only really need to go for an Aurelius at this point, just to get it in Hydro Cannon range, but I think I just wanted to make sure that I guarantee the damage. We're going to come in CMP tie on the move. This should just about KO. Now in this meta, you can use Shadow Swampert as a sweeper. I do like using this Swampert here, because basically it just survives a lot more moves. You cannot one-shot a Gligar anyway, so I feel like it's not really worth it. And in the 2-shield scenario, Steelix can win with all the debuffs, which is kind of annoying. Now we're seeing another Vigoroth lead here. This time I decided to go for the overfarm instead of the insta-throw, because I'm losing CMP with every other Vigoroth. So I decided I'm going to take advantage of that, go for the overfarm, and look to basically try and CMP the next move. If the opponent wants to take me out, that's perfectly fine. We're going to farm it the whole way down. We should get like 2 or 3 wing attacks depending on the opponent's IVs. And depending on your own IVs, of course. 3 wing attack head start, and in comes Steelix. The opponent's clearly weak to Gligar and Swampert. I'm not sure what my timing was like there, but I do get off the move. I think that was 4, but it looked like bad timing. So, bit of an interesting one there. Breaking Swipe. This Pokemon's just super annoying, like it doesn't really hit too hard. I decided to throw after 2 here, because they're just about to get to the next move. And then at this point, I'm basically going to swap into Swampert. clear the debuffs, keep some health, and in comes Trevenant. If you have a Shadow Swampert, you can 2-shot this thing, so go for 2 Hydro Cannons if you're Shadow. In this case, 2 won't quite KO, so I decided to go straight for the big damage, and we're going to get off another Hydro Cannon, because 2 Hydro Cannons don't KO, but one Sludge Wave and a Hydro Cannon will KO. So basically shield it up and force the opponent to throw their last energy, and then at that point we can look to farm it down with Gligar, or at this point we can even shield it up, because we have a Steelix on the other side, right? So it doesn't matter which way we go. I go for a cheeky overfarm, which will basically force the Steelix to throw energy, otherwise they're going to get Hydro Cannoned, because the Steelix does have a bit of residual energy if I recall, and yeah, they do fire it straight away. Now, I don't even think this KOs, but the question is, can they actually take us out? That almost KOs us, and I don't think I'm getting off the move, so we come straight into Gligar. Probably could have just saved the shield for Gligar, to be fair. That's perfectly fine. We're going to go for the dig. I just wanted to basically, because I knew that energy, I wanted to force them to throw it in Swampert, and at that point, we're basically chilling. So good games, and we're going to hop into the next battle. I'm not showing too many losses today, because like I said, a lot of the losses were just sort of close losses. Stunfisk lead, Venusaur. So you'd think, come straight into your other thing. 1 Body Slam plus counters will KO. So what I want to do is basically realign my Swampert onto the other thing. So I'm just going to stay in here, because 1 Frenzy Plant will come very close to, with the Vine Whips, it'll come close to taking out Gligar. And I'm thinking if they're safe swapping Venusaur, they might have another grass in the back, so I feel like I might need Gligar. That's the thinking here. We've got the Swampert for a Stunfisk. We can definitely take switch with our Vigoroth here, as you can see. Body Slam, it won't quite KO. So if this is a non-Shadow Venusaur, you probably do have to get out, but because it's Shadow, you can just counter it down. In comes Trevenant, and again, the switch timer is sort of a little bit misaligned, so I just decided to stay in here. The opponent actually throws energy, which is insane, to be honest with you. We will happily take that all day long, and I'm expecting the catch. The opponent does go for the CMP tie. Anyone moved, it's not KO. Boom, Seed Bomb coming through. We're going to just overfarm, there's the catch. And the way I have to play this now is just make sure that the other thing cannot farm down my Swampert. Now, once again, the good thing is, if they Earthquake us, they cannot just mudshot us down, right? So we're going to comfortably live this. And what I decided to do in this situation is, because the Trevenant overfarmed, I'm going to let them take me out. I'm either going to get to back-to-back Hydros, or let them take me out. Because if I take them out now, Trevenant's going to come in and farm us the whole way down, probably. They may not have been able to farm us down, but I didn't want that to happen, because look at my health on Gligar. 1 Shadow Ball would definitely KO. So now we've got this loaded, and we're basically chilling, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Whenever there's only 2 Pokemon left, sometimes it's best not to take the opponent out and get the farm down, because if they get the farm down, that could be a win con. Now you guys are going to see this team, except for it's a little bit different to my team from yesterday. They're running Decidueye on the safe swap. Now this is about the worst possible team you can face, because Decidueye actually beats Gligar in the 2s, which is pretty hilarious, depending on the attack stat on the Decidueye. Not good. Very, very not good. Let's see, can we get to free Winged or free Aerial Aces? We just about do get to free. The CMP tie us on the 3rd one, so I'm willing to shield this up here. Actually, no, I decided to let it go because I think it's going to be Tropus in the back, and I'm thinking we just come in with this thing, and with 2 shields we should be able to take Tropius and Mercargo. That was the thinking. They come in with Gourgeist. They come in with bloody Gourgeist. They actually give us half a chance here. I'm trying to overfarm to 100 energy, or as close to 100 as possible before they get to the move. But yeah, this doesn't help, unfortunately. I was reaching for the Sludge Wave. Even if I had have got off that other move, not going to make a difference, folks. Gourgeist is super, super thick. And just for science, I want to see how much damage this does. Just to see, like, yeah, like, Gourgeist is super, super bulky. And at this point, I'm looking it up on PvPoke. So, that was, you know, pretty RPS loss. Swampert comes in. I like to stay in here for a while. I try not to CMP the opponent. Swampert can do very well against Gligar, of course, right? So, like, if I can deal with this here, I wait the turn to make sure they don't catch. If I can deal with this here, I will. We do get this quite low as well, and I go for the CMP and the Body Slam. Now that we've got damage through, I'm more than happy with this. I can farm it the whole way down. Now, I don't mind investing a shield here at this point, because Hydro Cannon, most likely, is going to be the hardest hitting move left for Gligar. So even though it's an early shield, we're coming out with over a dig, so, like, that's perfectly fine. In comes a Talonflame. Now, I should have swapped straight out here. I do go for a to and fro, and then we do swap out, so they're on 2 Incinerates now, and in comes Quagsire. Now, Swampert does straight up beat Quagsire in the 0s, I believe, so we'll have to have a look at this. They're going to get off another Mud Bomb. They actually see PS on 9 here, I believe, or I think this was 7, actually. Yeah, 7. We just basically need to try and mudshot them down. If I was using Shadow in this situation, I probably would have had them KO'd by now. Now this is looking a little bit tricky because they've got 2 Incinerates for you on Talonflame. which is a little bit tricky. Now we're on very, very low HP. I decided to go for 1 and fro, because if you throw 2 and fro, you'll get knocked out by the Incinerate. Boom, this comes through, of course, forces the shield. We go for a 2 and fro on this, and this is basically game over. The opponent's on 4 Incinerates. All the opponent has to do is go for flame charges. I'm going to let this move go, and we'll see what the opponent decides to do. They go for the Brave Bird, we live it, and we we get this off after 1 as well. I didn't think I was living another Incinerate. This will guarantee the KO. The opponent needed to actually go for flame charge in that situation, because I think they could have lived probably another 2 earliest right there. Tropus lead. I decided to stay in here because it's not absolutely terrible. We throw after 7 for good timing. For Tropus, like, I don't want to get RPS with whatever this team is, like swap out and get my Gligar completely wrecked. I'd rather farm down Tropus with Gligar and just get a ton of energy. Yeah, so Leaf Blade coming through, we go for 1 and fro. And at this point, I'm just going to insta-throw the next move. If the opponent gets greedy and overfarms, this can be tricky for them. We end up CMP tying them. The opponent needed to throw the energy sooner, because it takes us 30 turns. And we end up taking Switch, which is insane. In comes Steelix. I could be swapping out here, but I decided just to hard line up my Swampert with it, just in case there is something in the back. It is actually a Piloswine, and you guys are about to see that Hydro Cannon does not quite one-shot it, but it's definitely good enough. Now at this point, this is an easy shield, guys. Like, it takes them 6 Powder Snows to get to Avalanche. I'm thinking I can probably farm them the whole way down. Yeah, this is game over, folks. Even though they've got 2 shields, the opponent goes for the CMP tie because they're so thirsty. They're so horny for the debuff. You're not getting it first. You're not getting it first. I tried to go for a double CMP. Don't think it quite worked in that situation. Breaking Swipe does quite a lot of damage from the Shadow. Yeah, this is just game over, folks. We'll show them Gligar and the opponent's going to see the writing on the wall. The opponent is staying in here for a second, but I think they will see the writing. Good games, well played, and let's hop on the next battle. The only really terrible leads you get with Vigoroth are Trevenant, Decidueye, and what's the other one? Blaziken. But even with Blaziken, you outplace to the first Body Slam, so if you wanted to, you could stay in and throw the Body Slam, get a shield, and then swap out. You will see that a little bit later on, but Pidgeot, right? What I like to do with this Pokemon is if they let the first move go, I'll shield what's probably going to be Brave Bird. They're just going to take the damage and go for Brave Bird, and then look to realign, and in comes their own Vigoroth more often than not. This is usually Pidgeot, Vigoroth, and Swampert. This is perfect, right? Because we can get off 2 Body Slams, and we actually still live this 1 Body Slam, so you don't have to shield this Body Slam that they do, and then you get off your own. And at this point, they're super, super low. You can come in and farm it down with Gligar, and get the energy for Pidgeot. Yeah, so you're chilling. You're down a shield, right, but you're up so much energy, and they've only got 1 Pokemon left, basically, which is going to be Swampert. And as we've established, Swampert cannot one-shot this. Now, they go for this move. Now, what I'm thinking here is, they think that I have to shield, so I'm not going to shield. They're going to go for the debuff because it's probably Swampert in the back, and they want to debuff us so we can't wreck them, basically. The way I was looking at this is, they've got Swampert, they want to get the shields down and look to sweep up a shield with Shadow Swampert. It actually turned out to be Blaziken in this case. We outpaced to the move. It takes them 6 to get to the Blaze Kick, and at this point, guys, we're just going to let them take us out. They actually let that go because it's a debuffed move, and we show them Swampert for a second, like, hey, what's up? I've got Swampert in the back, and they're like, screw you, bro, just take me out. But, you know, we have to troll a little bit here sometimes. Vigoroth lead, we're going to play it the same way. We're going to overfarm because we lose CMP. If you win CMP, you can go for the CMP, but if not, like, just overfarm. And we're going to farm up to back-to-back or close to back-to-back. That's what I usually do. And we're going to fire for both of these moves. If the opponent catches, we get alignment. If not, we get the farm down. That's perfectly fine. Like I said, guys, Gligar in this meta with a farm down. With 2 or 3 wing attacks. This one only gets 2 this time. Again, it just depends on your Gligar and their Vigoroth IVs. And your Vigoroth IVs, how much damage you're doing. In comes Swampert. And as I said to you guys, you cannot get one-shot by this thing, but I am thinking the Gligar could be quite useful in the back. I'm expecting this just to be a mirror of my team, so we decided to go for the earliest. You don't really want to go for Dig in this situation because you need to throw 2 moves anyway. We're trying not to CMP the opponent. The opponent's really trying to CMP me. I'm just thinking, like, if we can more or less take care of this with Gligar, we should be good. Now, I'm thinking the opponent will most likely let this move go, so I do go straight for the Dig this time, which will put in the heavy damage. And I'm thinking at this point, they go for the catching Gligar, so they're pretty close to Hydro Cannon. But I think we're in a good position now because we've chipped them into pretty much a Hydro Cannon range. Because their Swampert is very, very close to a move, I want to overfarm and make sure that I can throw a move on their Swampert. So that's perfectly fine. Eat the Dig, no problem at all. Doesn't do that much damage. We're going to overfarm to almost 100 energy just before they get to the move. Or I think I was going for CMP there. Boom. That actually does KO that one. Again, like, it's so IV dependent with these Gligars. If they've got like a research IV, you can one-shot it. If they've got a traded one, not so much. Now at this point, guys, I can either mud-shot it down or wing attack it down. I decide to let it go and wing attack it down. Good games, well played. So you're seeing that we're beating our own team by just getting the farm down. So, like, you almost just want to let the Vigoroth take you out. Again, big shout out to Hugo for that, because, like, that was his strategy and it works really, really well. Noctowl lead. if you see a flyer like Noctowl or Pidgeot, you can almost guarantee it's going to be Swampert and Vigoroth in the back, or most of the time it'll be at least Vigoroth and something. Like, I've seen it with Swampert and I've seen it with a grass type. So we'll see what the opponent does here. Sky Attack, 2 Sky Attacks basically KOs, and then comes Swampert. And this is basically where you want to see Swampert in the team on Vigoroth, because Body Slam's chunk. Now what I want to do here in this situation is, because this is not farm down range, I want to get a few more counters through, and I'll outpace the next Body Slam. So I should be able to get a shield back off the opponent or switch, which is perfectly fine by me. And at that point we can just wing attack it down. I'm thinking this is most likely going to be Gligar in the back, so my Swampert should be basically in a prime position to sweep, and we're going to let this go. Gligar's going to come in here, start getting wing attacks through, and I think I decide to actually shield this move, because again, I know it's Gligar, they still have a Noctowl, I need this to take care of Noctowl, because Swampert doesn't do any fast move pressure to it, so we fast move the whole way down, and in comes actually a Marshtomp. Not what I was expecting to see, double Mudboy. It is BB Swampert, and we're going to go straight for the dig. That was a mistake, guys. Gligar needs 2 moves to KO, so you go for double Aurelius. I was going for heavy damage because I thought that thing's glassier than Swampert, but as it turns out, you do need 2 moves anyway. Now this is a little bit awkward. 1 move does not KO here, and we might be able to force the final shield from the opponent. We're going to go straight for this move, and hopefully try to force the Marshtomp to throw. Now basically what this comes down to is, will the opponent get to 2 surfs? The opponent throws the move, they are forced to throw, of course, we'll get the Hydro Cannon off, and we've got loaded energy on the Gligar. I basically need to farm up to the back-to-back here. The opponent gets off the first surf. Now we're going to see how close they are to the next one. I think the opponent's dry at this point, so I should be good. We're almost at back-to-back Aureliuses, of course, to get the Mud Shot through here. And I'm going to throw another wing attack. And yeah, I think they were just at the move here, or 1 off. So very, very close match. Again, I made it a little bit harder for myself by throwing a dig on the opponent. You do need to just throw 2 Aureliuses there. Likewise with Swampert. And, you know, as you've seen earlier, like, I did throw the dig whenever, you know, the match was going on for a little while. But if you're just entering that match, your intentions are to throw 2 Aureliuses. But if their health is getting a bit lower, you can look to change that over time. So, Body Slam coming through, the opponent lets it go. I think if they let it go, they go for Brave Bird. If they shield it, they go for Feather Dance. That's basically my rule. I'm going to shield the Brave Bird, in comes their own Vigoroth. Guys, you're seeing it again and again, right? This team, if you have a strategy in this comp, you can do really well. So the opponent here, they're going to fire half the move. Once again, we've established that this does not KO. The opponent's going to fire a Body Slam, or should be able to get off another one. It's getting actually a little bit close here. I wasn't sure if I was getting this one off. I am fairly certain there's a counter breakpoint on Vigoroth versus Vigoroth. That can be a thing. The opponent actually lets it go, and we swap straight out. I don't want them to farm us the whole way down, and I know that their Pidgeot's super low, and we end up CMPing on this move. I know that I live this move, so I let it go, but I think that was a mistake, honestly. I think it was just so obvious they're going to go for Brave Bird and swap out. So yeah, I think that was definitely a big mistake here. We still have a full health Swampert, but this is tricky now. I'm basically in a position where I'm going to have to call 2 Brave Birds. I decided to call it here because, yeah, they might want to debuff my attack or whatever, but unfortunately, the opponent made the correct play and went for Brave Bird straight away. We get off this next move, doesn't make a difference, and that's going to be good games. I guess that's just a weird team by the opponent. ABF Flyer. Talonflame is a bit of a unique Pokemon, and it's making me want to run Heliolisk in this comp, although Heliolisk just got absolutely wrecked by Vigoroth. As you've seen there briefly, we went 3-2. Trevenant coming in. This is a terrible lead for us. This is about the worst possible lead you can get. I decided I need to stay in here because we're ABA weak to this Pokemon, right? I'm going to overfarm. The opponent's overfarming like crazy as well. They're most likely expecting us to go for a catch here at some point, but boys, I'm not trying to catch anything. I'm just trying to catch a few Bulldozes on this Trevenant if possible. 2 Bulldozes gets it quite low, and that'll put it in a very manageable position. I decided to commit to this because I want them to throw energy, and I'm going to come in and farm it down with Gligar. I feel like that's my only option to win this match. If this gets lined up in Swampert, it's game over for me instantly. Now, I think this one is just a Seed Bomb, so I let this one go, and they come into their own Swampert. This is so rough, guys. This is super, super rough, because they're in a position now where they're up a shield, they've got a Trevenant. This is just such an awkward team, unfortunately. I feel like 1 Pidgeot lead just beats this team. So like Trevenant lead with Swampert in the back, I'm not so sure about it. I don't think I even see the opponent's third Pokemon here, because they just come in and sweep us with Trevenant, but this is what you have to watch out for, I think. You can't really swap into Gligar, because of course you'll just get RPS, right? So I think you have to try and soft lose and try to play around the Pokemon a little bit. Maybe get an overfarm in this matchup here. They come straight back into Trevenant again, which arguably is a bit of a mistake by the opponent, but I don't think it makes too much of a difference. They force us to dump energy, and that's looking pretty good for the opponent now. So I think my only option here is to basically farm it the whole way down with Gligar. Let's see if they want to show us their back Pokemon. Yeah, they get to the move. I could have farmed my own move, but yeah, I think I just had to commit to the farm down. I can only guess what might be in the back, but it certainly has to be something that beats Pidgeot. So maybe like a Steelix? The most common team in this cup was by far Pidgeot, Vigoroth, and Swampert, which is probably what we're witnessing right now. So if the opponent runs into the most common team, they most likely lose, but unfortunately it was a pretty bad team for my team. Now notice the difference right here. The opponent shields up the first move. What does that mean? It means they want to get a debuff and lower the damage, usually. So I just expect the fella dance at this point. They come into their own Vigoroth. I think this is a mistake. I think I need to get out of here because these are nerfed body slams. This is not good by me, I think. I needed to get out of here. I was thinking, like, I want to try and get into farm down range, but their Pidgeot's super healthy now. I think this was a big mistake. I think in this situation, guys, Vigoroth loses to Gligar, so I think, like, maybe you throw one body slam if you want to, put it into dig range, but staying in and throwing two, I think, was a big mistake. I should have banked a move for Pidgeot later, or for whatever's in the back, like Swampert. The opponent does let it go. We are up a shield here at this point, but our Pokemon are getting quite low, right? So they come in with double in this situation. I think Gligar is our only Pokemon that can deal with double as well. So like this double normal team is definitely a bit of a tricky one. I think if you're playing this team, you definitely save all of your energy and just swap straight out to Gligar, or even Swampert if you want to. Swampert has a negative match against Pidgeot, so you could try to play it that way. We do go for a nice catch here, which is maybe a little bit helpful, but we'll see if that actually does help at all. We have two Pokemon still to deal with a pretty low health Gligar. I'm going to try and get off the move here in bad timing, which should just about KO, I think, or come very close to KOing. It doesn't quite KO. The opponent swaps back into Pidgeot, gets an overfarm. We don't get off the move. We don't get off the move, and that should be basically game over for us. My only logical play is to try and call the bait. The opponent just go for the bait, which is a little bit terrible by the opponent. I go for Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, that move does not KO, and there's not really a whole lot we could do in that situation. I think just staying in with Vigoroth is what cost that match. I just had to swap out to something else. So hopping into the next battle here, guys, I think we have like a legend from, I think that's a legend post from like 2 seasons ago or something, Vigoroth versus Vigoroth. We'll see what the opponent decides to do. Now, this opponent here is probably most likely expecting me to be an insta-throwing Andy. However, I'm not an insta-throwing Andy. I lose CMP to everything. We do forward and throw here for good timing, and we're going to look to basically force a shield off the opponent. I come into Swampert. You could say, oh, why not go into Swampert? I knew I could force a shield in that situation. Now, I'm expecting them to YOLO off the Shadow Ball immediately here, because of course they're going to get taken out by this thing. We go for another couple here. Now, this can only be a disarming voice, so we're basically chilling. It's actually a crunch. They do get the defense drop. We go for 2 and 4 for good timing, and we're just absolutely loaded for the Vigoroth. If they come back in, they're going to lose CMP. And I'm thinking here, is this double fire? At this point, they're safe swapping Skeledirge, which is a bit of an interesting one. I think it's not so much a safe swap, as they're trying to catch the resisted body slam, right? That does a lot of damage, and I'm thinking, is it either double fire or is it double ghost? Like, you know, trying to basically wall Vigoroth. I let that go, come in with my own, they come in with Blaziken, and at this point, I sort of predicted the swap, so I come into my own thing, so that's good games. Not really a whole lot the opponent could have done after I did not insta-throw on the Skeledirge. Once again, we have Vigoroth versus Vigoroth. You know, we've seen this before. Pretty much every other battle. It's either Vigoroth or Pidgeot most of the time, and we know how to deal with all of these. Body Slam coming through, boom. We're going to farm up a little bit, farm up. The opponent does go for a nice catch on Steelix, but like, if you're going to give up alignment, bro, I'm happy, honestly. Let me get my Swampert on your Steelix. We overfarmed by 1. I thought I wasn't at the move, that's why I overfarmed. I wanted to make sure to store the Body Slam, which if you are swapping out, it is always good to store the move. We do go for this next Hydro Cannon here, I believe in good timing, and we're only 1 off the next one. The opponent needs to be an insta-throwing Andy here, or they're not going to get off their move. Again, that's the situation where you have to throw instantly. I'm pretty sure the opponent was at the move. If they were at the move, let's say, you have to throw it instantly. That's just an important thing to remember. It's always good to do good timing, but sometimes it's best not to do good timing. Like, can we actually outpace here? I think they stored a move, right? So, like, whatever at this point. I'm at the Hydro Cannon, so I could actually go for the CMP tie. I decided to come into Gligar, get some extra farm. I think they could potentially get off another Body Slam here. We'll see what they decide to do. Because they did catch that move earlier, or they swapped out earlier. So, I know they're definitely at the move or close to the move here. Boom, we actually take them out. I thought they would shield it, to be honest with you, and in comes Double Wall. We should be basically chilling at this point because we've got a Body Slam loaded of our own. All I really need to do here is get shields off the opponent. Yeah, they let the first move go. That's perfectly fine. I still need to throw another move anyway. At some point, I'm going to try and go for a CMP catch, which means I'm basically going to throw in between the double kick and try to catch on a Body Slam CMP. That would be perfect. I go for it here, thinking they might either insta-throw it or do a 1-and-throw and I might be able to catch, but we get off the damage. That's the most important thing. And at this point, guys, like I said, we have to eat a move no matter what. And I don't think they're going to go for like a payback or a wild charge at this stage. Boom, Body Slam coming through. And just to guarantee the knockout, we go for the dig, and that's going to be good games. So yeah, definitely double is a tricky one, but if you can get it lined up on Gligar, you're basically chilling. And like I said guys, Gligar, it's just such a good Pokemon in this cup. I feel like the only things it really hard loses to is like Abomasnow. But I was looking it up earlier, if you do get ahead by like 2 or 3, I don't think they can fully farm you the whole way down before you get off 3 Aureliuses, which will KO this thing. Oh, this is such a satisfying match right here. In comes Talonflame. I leave after 1 Incinerate. So I swap out fairly quickly there. I'm expecting them just to YOLO the Brave Bird here. Now at this point I can overfarm by 7 because it's straight freeze for the Brave Bird. I chicken out because I'm not like super confident on my Talonflame counts. I could have done 7 here, but at this point guys, we're going to outpace to the Sludge Wave and that's all that matters. Will the opponent respect the Sludge Wave? Do they think we're running it? It almost one-shots. If it's a Shadow Abomasnow, you one-shot, or if you're running a Shadow Swampert, you one-shot. But at this point guys, we're chilling, like we can just actually Hydro Cannon and get rid of it. I was actually kind of tempted to let them take me out, but I think this is better. We'll come into Vigoroth here. I was expecting to see a Gligar, because again, Gligar is a very permanent fixture in most teams. Body Slam coming through. All I need to do is basically chip this down to a point where my own Gligar can Aurelius it. So I just let everything go in Vigoroth. Dig coming through, they're going to need 2 moves no matter what. So they probably should go double Aurelius if they want to try and get off as many moves as possible. Boom, they shield the move, and that's game over. Even if they let it go, it's game over. Like, no matter what they do, it's game over. And that's the long and short of it here. Body Slam coming through. And yeah, they can take us out with Aurelius, but I think as soon as I show them my own Gligar, they should realize it's basically a top lifting time. Yep, the opponent sees the hashtag writing on the wall. By the way, I believe Home Slice Henry got married today. So big shout out to him, man. If you guys are still watching at this point in the video, go over to one of his latest videos or something and just wish him well. But I think this might be the final battle, guys. If you've stuck it out to this point, appreciate it. We're getting the Abomasnow leads now, which you love to see. And in comes Victini. Now, what I decide to do here, because they're going to build up to back-to-back, right? And this will almost one-shot. I'll be an insta-bring Andy. Get off his move. And I'm going to let them build up to the back-to-back. Now, I'm thinking they might be cheeky here and go for an overheat, so I'm going to shield up the first one, and then they'll most likely throw the next move. And at this point, this gives me license to overfarm a little bit and go for another Hydro Cannon, which will put us in a really good position. And as you've seen in the last matchup, they actually do have the Shadow this time. I wasn't sure if I won CMP, so I didn't want to go for it. But they do have the Shadow this time, and they cannot farm us down here in this situation. We get off the Sludge Wave. Does the opponent respect it, knowing that we've got a Vigoroth? I think probably not, and it absolutely one-shots the Abomasnow. In comes their own Gligar, and they just instantly top left. So actually, it's not the last battle, we do have another one here. So like I was saying, guys, if you do enjoy these longer videos, do drop a like, let me know in the comment section down below. Whenever I first started this channel, I done tons of these long videos. In fairness, guys, I'll be honest with you, I was trying to get my watch time up to get my channel monetized. So I'm gonna be honest, like I was spamming out like 35-minute videos to try and get the watch time up. But I'm really, thankful that you guys did enjoy those enough to keep watching them. Negative lead, and in comes the Abomasnow. This was really, really weird. I should be ahead by 1 wing attack, right? Right, so boom, that comes through. It takes them 5 and then 4 to get to their move. So like, I should be at the earliest and they should not be at the move, correct? I was super surprised here, they actually are at the move on the CMP, which it doesn't really make any sense to me, to be honest with you, because I never CMP'd them and I should be ahead by 1. Doesn't make any sense. I do shield this up to get off the earliest, and I'm hoping I can get to another move here. Unfortunately, they do just farm us down. But this is perfectly fine, guys, because my sort of thinking here is, like, we're going to be able to farm this the whole way down. They will get off an energy ball. They actually go for 2 weather balls, which I guess is more efficient, so shout out to the opponent for knowing that. I would have just went straight for energy ball. But yeah, we're getting super, super low. And guys, at this point, in comes their own Vigoroth. All we have to do is chip it into Body Slam range, or sorry, Hydro Cannon range with the Body Slam. And this is game over. They'll only get off 1 move. We're just going to insta-throw this next move, because the opponent, of course, did swap out. Timer's not going to come up here. I actually do go for a bit of an overfarm, which is, I think, smarter. Because it means I can definitely outpace the Blaziken, right? Need to make sure they don't do any funny business, because they did get a counter free. So I wanted to make sure to get that overfarm. The Abomasnow's on 1 HP in a dream, and the dream's over, folks. We're going to get this Hydro Cannon off. Guys, I gained about 120, oh no, 113 elo, I think, with this team. We're up to 2420. We're blazing it up here, close to veteran. Hopefully we can hit it tomorrow. Thank you everybody for watching the video. Hope you all enjoyed. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And like I said, drop a like, subscribe, and catch you all next time.